some light too, I hope. I'm delighted to be chair of this debate. We have a panel which includes some of the most provocative, intelligent and stimulating commentators and practitioners.
These supplies are on the move. Bring down the transport before they fly out of state and you can salvage the hardware. We've allocated a technical aqua for your use.
Arguing against the motion, the actor, broadcaster and author Stephen Fry and the journalist and commentator Christopher Hitchens. Well, our first speaker is John Onaiken, His Grace, the Archbishop of Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. And His Grace is one of Africa's best known, most respected commentators on the Church, the Catholic Church. He was appointed Archbishop by John Paul II in 1994. He's also President of the Christian Association in Nigeria. Archbishop, please make your way to the podium. I'm going to give you 6 foot down to warn you that you have about 2 minutes left before your allotted time is over. So please make your way to the podium. Speak at the microphone.
Very much for this wonderful introduction. I see her face so up on the BBC. It's nice to see her live. Friends, I certainly must say I'm grateful to be here for this occasion, and I thank Nick Pisani, our friend, for bringing me here. Not only for bringing me to this occasion, but for giving me the opportunity to speak on this topic, because for me it's more than a matter of debate. Because that's what my life is all about. I really believe that the Catholic Church is a force for good. I will not believe. No. It's precisely working in that institution. Hoping that I am involved in something that is and then
you ain't gonna be standing up there hoping and believing in. You supposed to be up there knowing that you up there telling the motherfucking truth.
For me, to be a Catholic is a gift of God.
See?
I was a gift that I received from my parents. And my parents, they were the first generation of Christians.
Everything that you believe in, you was taught to believe in. Because you was taught to believe in some bullshit so you wouldn't know what the truth is from within.
Tradition of our traditional religion and a great dedication to God before it becomes better. Not because it's like, but because of things better. I have been remained faithful to that to the very end. He died at 91. I'm 65 years old and I've made my own journey to my own life. And so far, no regrets. And the contrary, I'm learning every day more convinced that let me proceed by trying to unpack some of the major elements of this topic. Let me start with the word church, the Catholic Church. Obviously, it means many things to many people, but I think as an Archbishop, I should be in a position to say what it does mean, especially for us Catholics. Yes, the Catholic Church is an institution, and some people say it is perhaps the best organized institution in the world, but that's not really the essence of our church. We should go beyond the institution, and for us, the church is first and foremost a community of believers. And this is a community of believers that is spread all over the world.
You're a fucking adult. You're supposed to know what the fuck you're doing with the fucking truth. Not believing in some bullshit. It start off in believing, but if you believe in some bullshit, you know it's some bullshit, you bullshit too. And stop bullshitting yourself. You start telling the truth.
I'm stressing this so that when you are asking yourself, is the Catholic Church the force for good in the world? Don't look at me. Don't look at anything this is fake. Look at the Catholics all over the world. Wherever there is a Catholic, there is the Catholic Church. This is the church that we are talking about in this debate. You meet them.
Pedophilia. All that bullshit come from the Catholic Church.
That the church is a force for good in the world seems obviously to me spans concept. The question probably we should ask is what kind of force? There was once an arrogant dictator who asked in his day how many battalions has the Pope? Obviously, he completely missed the point. It's not about military force or physical force, but it is about force. It's about the force of the spiritual message, the force of values, which has stood the test of 2,000 years. And not only 2,000 years of time, but has spread this message all over the world among different kinds of people, different races. And it is a force that is made up also of the spiritual and moral values that faith carries with it. Though we are not the only ones with those values, especially we share with other Christians, and we even share with others who believe in certain strict values about life. And we believe the world is a better place with all the values that guide us. The church is a force for good. What it teaches. And I want to refer especially to recently our Pope brought out a cyclical letter, which is the most authoritative teaching in the document called Caritas in the Family. Charity. And they not only analyze the problems of injustice in our world, but actually came up with very interesting guidelines to assist the world to come out of its present confusion, if they would only listen. We must also not forget the sheer weight of the number of Catholics. I have checked the statistics, and we have told that now we have 1.2 billion Catholics all over the world, out of a population of 6.6 billion, 17.3%. And these are young, these are made up of all categories of people, young and old, women and men, high-tech professionals.
Man, this game gonna be fucking tripping, man. We get out the fucking car so I can get the fucking hell up.
This is the great army that is the great force of the world. And whatever they are doing, we consider it as being done largely also as a result of the spirit that guides them. But let's come further to a more concrete area of the kind of things that the Catholic Church does in the world, the network of initiatives that the Church is doing, especially the area of social welfare and development, which people like me, from where I come from, are constantly taught what the Church is doing. Independent statistics have shown that the Catholic Church is doing far more than its number. The action of the church is most significant in communities that are in poverty and injustice by human neglect and sometimes by violence. Whether it is of people living in refugee camps, in geography, in all these areas. If you go to those places, in those refugee camps, and ask them, they tell you that the Catholic Church is a force for and a force for the world.
Oh, come on now.
Couple of statistics. I spoke recently with the Director General of UA, United Nations Agency for Children, and he said that 26% of the health institutions in the world directly involved with the treatment of HIV and AIDS are run by the Catholic Church. And this is an underestimation because I do know that many times what we do are not reported to the police, which just shows the way and going. The same thing can be said of schools and clinics. And please note that it is a well-known policy of our church that whenever we are engaged in social welfare work, it is always given to all without any discrimination, whether you live or not, irrespective of class. Therefore, in a world where very often things go according to sectarian lines and polarized, this is surely going to be a great force for you. Mind you, I have not in any way suggested, nor have said so far, that the Catholics are the world. It is an integral part of our church says. And we say that we are all struggling towards that election. No, am I denying that the Catholic Church has always and everywhere they've done excellent things, even sometimes at high levels. But this again only proves that we are in this world. Even late Pope John Paul II had no difficulty at all in admitting the mistakes that people who claim to be Catholics and working in the name of the church have done in the past. And even apologized. And such gestures of apology is very rare and was needed. We should also get how the church Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Christopher Hitchens. He's arguing against the motion. Christopher Hitchens is British by origin, but he has spent most of his working life in the United States. He is a writer, journalist, and commentator. He was well known for his questions and the very original thinking. He worked on Vanity Fair magazine, where he memorably wrote a rather excellent supplementary profile, I would say, of the latest economic research. So, Christopher Hitchens, let us hear what you have to say. Your time starts now. Please make your way to the podium.
Well, Your Grace, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and Zainab, who did something that I almost never have had experienced before, paid a compliment to my shirt before we came on. So I was able to return by pointing to her that you're feasting your eyes on now and saying, I once saw Norman St. John Stevens, now Lord Stevens of Fawley, wearing a shirt just like that on the television. And he was asked by his interviewer, gosh, what a lovely shirt, where did you get it? Stevens said, do you really like it? I call it some crushed cardinal. I might add, in the spirit of fraternity, which I'm sure will inform this entire soiree, that the mere existence of Lord Stevens of Fawley is testimony to the breadth of the church. Now, I'm sorry, though, to have to begin by disagreeing with His Grace. If you're going to be a serious grown-up person who appears to attend the Catholic Church in public in front of an educated and literate audience, you simply have to start by making a great number of heartfelt apologies and requests for contrition and forgiveness. Now, you might ask, you're fully entitled to ask, brothers and sisters, who am I to say that? Well, the Jubilee Millennium Year 2000, that Theodore Marie explaining the whole sermon of apology given by His Holiness the Pope, which covered the entire history of the Church in its Jubilee year, said just about the least of it. Holiness on that occasion, it was March the 12th, 2006. Begged forgiveness for, among some other things, you say, the persecution of the Jewish people, injustice towards women, and the forced conversion of indigenous peoples, especially in South America. And that followed a whole series of preceding apologies, or apologies, I would say, of a kind, made by the late Pope John Paul, who, it troubles me not at all to say, was very impressive and serious human being. They led to the 94 counter, public recognition on the part of appalling crime and error, cruelty, and stupidity, and offences to the free intelligence, ranging from, I believe, the African slave trade, apologized for in 1995. The admission that Galileo was right about the relationship between the sun and the earth and other orbs, which came in 1992, one might add, and I won't say, it's too easy to say better late than never, here, said it. To violence and torture, legalized torture. Torture was legalized and institutionalized by the Roman Pontiff during the Counter-Reformation. That came in 1995. And for silence during the final solution for Shoah, as well as 1999, just under the Millennium Jubilee wire, and apologies for burning alive in the main square of Prague of the Great Czech. Since that big fiesta of forgiveness, which began in culminated, as I said, the fiesta of asking for it, the papacy also asked to forgive us for the sack of Constantinople and the massacre of the Byzantine in April 1204, as part of the War Crusade. The anathema as unbelievers, heretics, dwelling outside the Catholic Church was lifted only in 1964. That, he also expressed sorrow about the murder and forced conversion of Serbian Orthodox Christians in the war during the Second World War. But then there were smaller but significant, equally significant, avowals of a very bad conscience. These have included regret for the rape and the torture of orphans and other children in church-run schools in almost every country on earth, from Ireland to Australia. And I'm pleased to see that due reconsideration is now being given, and made fantastic given to the hellish, I choose the word, have the doctrine of limbo, St. Augustine's cruel and disposal problem, the non-existent problem, that is to say, the destination of the souls of unbaptized children. Now, Catholic parents have been taught that's where they're unbaptized children. Torture that sometimes works invisible. Now it's reasonable that the individual is undergoing reconsideration as well.
Phone it, man. They turn away from the motherfucker playing everything. I already know how this game do me. You gotta do me like that. I don't play the way they want me to play. They play the way I want to play.
I would like them to take back, come forward and maybe that old member of the first treaty he ever signed here in the church will not be so regulated in Germany. By that fact, I would also think I'd want to reconsider the fact that Father Tito, head of the Nazi puppet state in Slovakia, was a priest in holy orders. That the Croatian fascist puppet state in the Scottish state of Anti-Catholic was also operating under full clerical side as was and the state of Antonio. I'd also want, I really think I would beg forgiveness for this. I don't think the German church should have asked Hitler's birthday to be celebrated from the pulpit every year until he died. These are very serious matters.
Oh, the plane landed on the motherfucking package and broke the package up. Oh, that's some bullshit.
Charities that I draw your attention not to the toys,
So it can't do nothing but bullshit with me.
but to the evasive and euthanasia form that they take. Joseph Ratzinger,
You can't win them all, and luckily there's a media blackout, so no one knows when you don't.
Media blackout. That's all kind of shit. in the movie though.
Remember that before we
It's
came
all got
here,
everything to do
they
with
were silently awaiting the
motherfucking own Jews.
I don't think that's a very genuine view. In his point, one of the views he's made on the institutionalization of rape and torture and maltreatment of children as an institution, he said it's a very severe crisis which involves us, he said, in the following. In the need for applying to these victims the most loving pastoral care. Well, I'm sorry, they've already had that. And so that this is a response to be paid upon by the horrific position that you already have to make, is not accepting responsibility in any adult sense. When I say child abuse is institutional, how dare I say so? How can I prove it? How can I prove such a thing? Well, I'll ask the great. And I'll ask my witness. Where is Cardinal Bernard Law now? Where is he? Where is the Cardinal Archbishop of Boston?
Well, they didn't answer.
Finally, by 50 members of the church and by the whole laity in Massachusetts, who also demanded his prosecution for the promotion and protection and covering up and apology for and defense of
pedophilia and all that bullshit that's going on in the Catholic Church. Fair use, motherfucker. We teaching, we ain't preaching. We just telling the truth.
Personally appointed by the Pope, that has closed many other important synagogues. And in 2005, this man, and of complicity in the filthiest crime that is possible for a human being to imagine, was one of those voting one day to decide who the next bishop was on that day.
No.
I don't know. I think I'd like to go with this one. I'd like to see a bit more confrontation with the reality. Now, this is a serious question, as I've said, and Whittaker very often, rightly, in my opinion, attacks kind of the moral relativism and ability to goes that can very well be the handmaid of postmodernist, hedonistic culture. I'm glad that she points these things out. But the rape and torture of children is not something to be relativized.
No.
Not something to be excused as a few bad priests.
No.
It's
No.
certainly not to be excused by the hideously false claim made by some Catholic conservatives that this wouldn't have happened if queers hadn't been allowed into the church.
No.
Sorry to say that queerdom in the church is an old story too.
No.
And it's worse. It's much worse than pornography, and it's much worse than bad language on TV.
It is.
And it's the crime that cries out for punishment.
Cries out for punishment.
We were accused
Child
of
pornography.
We would
Child endangerment.
And if we were guilty of it, we'd kill ourselves. And it's the one thing the church decided to excuse itself.
To excuse itself from the truth.
The same euphemism comes in the term some Christians that is used in all the apologies about the Crusades, the Inquisition, the anti-Semitic pogroms, all the rest of it. Some Christians fell into error. Some Christians allow themselves to be deceived in this way, to act against the gospel. Well, anti-Semitism was preached as an official doctrine of the church until 1964. Do you think that might have something to do with public opinion in Austria and Bavaria and Poland and Lithuania? That the Jewish people were accused collectively as a people of deicide, of the crime of the murder of God in the figure of Jesus of Nazareth. And that anathema on them was not lifted until well after the perpetrators of the Holocaust had stood trial in secular courts and been rightly punished for their actions. How can this church say it has any moral superiority? It has difficulty catching up to what ordinary people regard as common moral and ethical sense, and it still can't make itself apologize properly, and I'll tell you why. Because, and I'll quote again from the encyclicals, it is said of the Crusades, of the complicity with the Holocaust, of the political and diplomatic alliance with fascism, of all of these things, it is said, well, violence was committed, but I'll stress this, I'll underline it, I'll quote directly, in the service of the truth. So how is an apology possible? Now, is any understanding or undertaking or firm purpose of amendment when the original sin, so to say, the radix malorum, the fons et origo, the problem in the first place, is the belief of the Protestant Church that it does possess a truth that we don't have, that it does have a God-given right A warrant, a mandate of heaven to tell other people what to do, not just in their public, but in their private life. Until that is changed, till that fantastic and sinister non-founding claim is changed, these crimes will go on repeating themselves, being partially denied, partially admitted when it's too late to do anything else, and covered up. Behind all these crimes and miseries is the denial of what we on this side of the house affirm, is that the only little candle of hope that our species does possess, our forebear, primate, mammalian species of whom you have two such splendid examples on this side of the house, and not bad on the other tonight, is the unfetteredness of intelligence, the method of free inquiry in philosophy and in science, and the refusal to admit that any one person could tell you not to do that. The one thing I might say, I think is not sacrosanct or sacred, is, shall we say, essential. And the Church has always stood and still stands against it. Now, in little time remaining to me, I'll just post a few more apologies that we might hope to hear in the immediate future. There will come a time when the Church will issue apologies and explanations and half-baked appeals for forgiveness for things it's still doing. The admission as a bishop of Roger Williams, a member of Marcel Lefebvre's fanatical, hysterical breakaway sect, so-called Society of St. Pius X. Roger Williamson, found hiding in a reactionary, quasi-fascistic establishment in Argentina, has long been a believer that, I'll put this shortly, that the Holocaust did not occur, but the Jews did kill Christ. In other words, genocide no, deicide yes. He was quite rightly excommunicated some years ago, along with several other members of his ratbag organization. But Joseph Ratzinger has invited him back into the communion because to him, having this man, this liar, this fraud, this racist in the church is more important because it's church unity than the things that he said and done and continues to stand for. Is this not a crying scandal? I think that there will
Now
be
don't
an
get too
apology for what
crazy
happened in
with that, you
Rwanda,
hear?
the most Catholic country in Africa, one of the most Catholic countries in the world, where priests and nuns and bishops are on trial for inciting from their pulpits and on the church's radio stations and newspapers the massacre of their brothers and sisters. And the papacy was silent on this appalling occasion, and everyone in Rwanda knows it. And there hasn't yet been a properly written apology for that disgrace. Staying in Africa, I think it will one day be admitted with shame that it might have been in error to say that AIDS is bad as a disease, very bad, but not quite as bad as condoms are bad, or not as immoral in the same way. I say it in the presence of his grace, I say it to his face. The preachings of his church are responsible for the death and suffering and misery of millions of his brothers and sisters. And he should apologize for it. He should show some shame.
Yeah, he should show some fucking shame. Fuck, you taking this shit and running with this shit, killing our people with their bullshit. A black man as a fucking Catholic after all that we done been through. Using asshole.
Here's a revolting piece of casuistry that's sometimes offered on this point. Yeah, we hate the sinner, we love the sinner. Stephen is, I'm sorry to say, not quite like other girls. It's his nature. Actually, he is like other girls in the news when I last checked, absolutely boy mad. He's not being condemned for what he does, he's being condemned for what he is. You're a child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join our church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman. It's obscene. And it comes from a clutch of hysterical, sinister virgins who've already betrayed their charge in the children of their own church. For shame! For shame! And finally, under this Pope, as if it wasn't bad enough, to try and restore the Latin Mass to gratify the mad, fascistic followers of Archbishop Lefebvre,
Okay, it's sale day. We've got it all in the back of the truck. Get the truck to the drop-off, and we get paid. Rival outfits might come after us, so be careful out there.
You'll get a certain remission from purgatory or hell. It may be temporary. If you come a lot and you give a lot, you'll get possibly permanent remission from the eternal punishment that they don't know any more about.
I mean, how?
This is the sale of indulgences, blatantly open. The same temptation that was offered to those who set off on that fourth crusade that's just been apologized for, and killed all the Jews of Europe on their way, sacked Byzantine Christianity when they got Constantinople, and then went on to massacre the Arabs and Muslims. They were offered paradise if they died committing these terrible crimes against humanity. But if you see what I mean, therefore, the stimulus to crime, the impetus to crime, the belief in certainty, the belief that a divine warrant entitles you to do whatever you like, is the sin that must be cancelled, that must be annealed, that must somehow be apologized. Now, I don't wish any. That's perfect time. I don't wish any ill on any fellow primate, mammal, even if this primate or mammal claims to be a primate in possession of right. I think we can even that. I live in a country where bear trade doesn't run. They're risk of the crime. They can't burn the entire system. Any more they sell my wife's starting from possession. Or any more they really sell Stephen the piece. So I don't at all report the death of Joseph Buckley. I don't. Or any other person, really. Except for one tiny reason I want to share with you. When he died, it was quite a long interval till the conclave to meet. Maybe Cardinal Law will still be on it. Pick another place. Sometimes it goes on for months till they get the right place. But for that whole time, that whole interval, delicious, lucid history, there isn't anyone on earth who takes this album. Isn't that nice? All I want to propose in closing is this. That if the human species is derived from the Almighty, surrounded by dignity and by intelligence, we must all of us move to a state of affairs where that condition is permanent. And I think we can get on with it. Okay, thank you for having me.
Well, Christopher, thank you very much for all that. Our next speaker is going to have her work cut out because she's speaking in favour of the notion that the Catholic Church is a force for good. The Conservative MP and former government minister, and she was well known for her religious views and for her politics, and you recall she left the Church of England in 1992 in a blaze of publicity when it allowed the ordination of women priests the following year at university. Catholicism has become one of the most vocal and staunchest defenders of the Catholic Church itself. And Winston, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. If apologies are due tonight, they are due from Christopher Hitchens, who has just run through one of the longest series of misrepresentations of the Catholic Church that I have heard in a long time.
What part was wrong?
It really is, I think, quite telling that in coping with a motion that says the Catholic Church is the force for good in the world, he has to go back to the crusade in order to try and...
No, fuck the crusade. Let's go right now. What's happening right now?
Can't actually look at the force of the Catholic churches in the world today, but I do nevertheless want to join him on his ground, though not sharing any of his conclusions, and just look at some of the things which he has stated. He has said, and actually, no pronouncing record of the Catholic Church. When the Jewish community was under the most serious threat that it has faced in recent centuries. And just look at the role that the Catholic Church played in the last World War. Mr. Hitchens
Catholic Church is the one that basically started it.
thousands of Jews who were secreted and rescued in churches and monasteries throughout at tremendous risk to the priests and the monks and the nuns who were hiding. He ignores the 3,000 Jews who in the course of that conflict took refuge.
What about the slaves that y'all sold at the Catholic churches? Shit.
Contradicts flatly the statement of so many prominent Jews after 1945 to express gratitude to Ireland, even to the extent of sending the Israeli Philharmonic Orchestra to stage a concert in the Pope's honor. Not, I think,
Fuck the Pope, that lying bastard, all them lying sons of bitches. I don't hate now one of them. But I dislike what y'all doing because y'all stupid. Y'all was taught to do the shit that y'all do. And y'all doing it well, too.
As a force for good. Martin Gilbert and
If I
Michael
was like
Burley,
y'all, I would wish that it did have a hell that y'all can go to and burn in. But nope, I'm just like y'all. So I don't wish y'all to suffer. I don't wish y'all to suffer. Because y'all can suffer yourself for the shit that y'all do.
and of course we should remember
And the divine creator love all day, every day, unconditionally. Ain't had nothing to do with what happened to you. Because your issue gonna be your issue in this circle of life coming back to you, for you,
his faith.
to have to deal with.
So I do not think
So you can't live there and say that that was the creator's wrath. No. That was your circle of life what goes around, comes around. That's your ass. Ass chewed up in grass. Bullshit. I'm just saying.
so also did the Romans. And indeed it's Pontius Pilate that we remember in the Creed every Sunday, not the Sanhedrin. Yet I do not recall Mr. Hitchens suggesting that because of that, the modern Catholic Church is anti-Italian. I rather thought it was quite pro-Italian. He also suggests that the Pope welcomed back a Holocaust-denying bishop.
We know what we've got to do.
Remember that the bishop in question was originally expelled for disobedience. Upon being
Makes good license
reinstated and
plates.
upon
Prison inmates.
reiterating his views, the Pope, a fact conveniently ignored by Mr. Hitchens, commanded him to repent, commanded him to deny what he had said. You would think from listening to Mr. Hitchens that the Catholic Church alone has been responsible for atrocities throughout history. If you are going to judge the Catholic Church at any given stage in history, then you have to judge it against the standards that were prevailing at the time. And condemning the Inquisition, which was a horrible thing, condemning the Inquisition in isolation from condemning just about the whole, in fact the whole, of European society, which at that time rejoiced in punishment and torture as a means of dealing with criminality and with treason and with wrongdoing. To try and divorce the Catholic Church from that and say that it was uniquely guilty under the Inquisition is simply trying to look back at centuries gone past and apply a standard that nobody applied at the time. And coming nearer to our day, of course Christopher Hitchens is right, and who could possibly dispute that the abuse of children, of innocent children, is one, in fact it is the worst offence
It's all or nothing on this one. The work wasn't cheap. Get the car to the buyer clean. This should be a payday, people.
Let's remember that in the 1970s, not the Crusade, not the Constantinople, but in the 1970s, the National Council for Civil Liberties of this country allowed the paedophile information exchange to affiliate to it. And the National Council for Civil Liberties had extremely respectable people at its head, including Harriet Harman and Patricia Hewitt. Would anybody seriously say that they condoned child abuse? They were acting in the ignorance of the time. Magistrates at that time, magistrates somebody who get me judges sometimes. Magistrates were awarding for that crime. I myself, in the 1980s, raised a comparison. One of the things we taught was how to handle it when we got callers about child abuse. We were not taught then, because they didn't know, that actually there was no way that somebody who abused would simply stop. And it was only in the mid-1990s, and don't I know it because I was in the Home Office at the time, that we actually introduced in this country a register of sex offenders. Do not expect the Catholic Church somehow, when that was the state of knowledge at the time, to have acted in a unique and completely different way. In retrospect, yes, of course. In retrospect, yes. In retrospect, it should have done. So should the magistrates. So should the Samaritans. So should the National Council of Civil Liberties. But when we ask whether the Catholic Church is a force for good, let's just try to imagine a world today without, for example, the billions of pounds that are poured into overseas aid by the Catholic Church, contributing year on year more than any single nation. Imagine the developing world has been left without the input of the medicine and the education that was brought to it by the mission. Imagine the absence of those connections Sunday upon Sunday, the famine relief. Imagine the absence of the church in the local community. I know well that when I was in the Department of Employment and in the Home Office, we were setting up initiatives, single regeneration budgets, whatever it might be. We relied on the church, churches, every bit as much as we rely on local councils and on other organisations. We play a vital role. And you don't need to be a Catholic to acknowledge that we play that role. What is the church? It is its members. It is the nuns and the monks and the priests and the lay workers and the congregation. It is not just the hierarchy of the church. And I believe that the church to which I belong is a massive, massive force for good. But let us not just keep the debate at that level. I knew somehow that when we were here tonight, we would be discussing child abuse and condoms. They came in the end. I was almost thought we were going to get through an entire speech without condoms from Christopher Hitchens, but we got them at the end. If he had the creed, it would be I believe in condoms. So, but that is not what the Catholic Church is about. It isn't only about the physical relief of the poor. It isn't only about the work it does on earth, but it is the message that it teaches. And that message is one of hope. That message is one of salvation. And it is all very well for some people in sex extravagance to say, we can do without that. But actually, billions of people across the world
Our little message of hope and salvation if it's a lie.
And also by the interpretation of those commandments by Christ. Yes, sometimes they fail. Sometimes their leaders fail. Human beings do fail. But overwhelmingly, I say to you tonight with no apology or anything, that a world without the Catholic Church would be poorer, would be more hopeless, and would be a worse place. Well, thank you very much indeed, Al Richardson. And our final speaker is against the notion that the Catholic Church is more forbidden in the world. He's the actor, broadcaster, and author, Stephen Fry, who's all around the really Stephen's heard of man, eventually very popular with his legions of fans. Stephen, let's say you see how well you know how to engage with critical capacity.
In the importance of being earnest when it becomes more than a moral duty to speak what the mind, it becomes a pleasure. And this is one such occasion with my trusty Hitch by my side. I am very proud to be here, but also very nervous, very worried. I've been nervous all day, and the reason I've been nervous is quite simple, and that is that this motion matters. It matters to me greatly. It's not a joke, it's not a game, it's not just an event. I genuinely believe that the Catholic
Well done out there. The money's in the bank.
at its marks, force for good in the world. And therefore it is important for me to try and marshal my facts as well I can to explain why I think that. But I want first of all to say that I have no quarrel, no argument, and I wish to express no contempt for individual devout and pious members of that church.
Oh, shit!
They are welcome to their sacraments, they're welcome to their reliquaries, to their Blessed Virgin Mary, they're welcome to their faith, to the importance they place in it, to the comfort and the joy that they receive from it. All of that is absolutely fine by me. It would be impertinent and wrong of me to express any antagonism towards any individual who wishes to find salvation in whatever form they wish to express it. That to me is sacrosanct as much as any article of faith is sacrosanct to anyone of any church or any faith in the world. It's very important. It's also very important to me, as it happens, that I have my own beliefs. They are a belief in the Enlightenment. They are a belief in the eternal adventure of trying to discover moral truth in the world. Discover. It's a terribly important word to which we find ourselves. It's a fight. It's an empirical fight. It's one that was begun in the middle of the last millennium. It's given the name the Enlightenment. And there is nothing, sadly, that the Catholic Church and its hierarchs likes to do more than to attack the Enlightenment. It did so at the time. Reference was made to Galileo and the fact that he was tortured for trying to explain the Copernican theory of the universe. That's history. History, as Miss Widdicombe has reminded us, is irrelevant. It's not important. All that matters now is that billions of pounds go out of this extraordinary institution to relieve the poor around the world and make the world a better place. History is of no importance whatsoever. Well, I beg to differ. History whinnies and quivers and vibrates in all of us, in this hall, in this square mile. Let's think about this square mile. I'll come back to it in a moment. First, Christian made mention of limbo. It seems so tedious and so silly, one of those little casuistic games that Thomists and others play. Aquinas and Augustine and Hippo both proposed this extraordinary idea that babies who were unbaptized would not know heaven. They also proposed the idea of purgatory, which doesn't exist in the Bible. There's absolutely no evidence for it. However, What an extraordinary, brilliant coup to imagine such a thing as purgatory. That a soul needs to be prayed for in order to go to heaven. In order to turn left from the aeroplane to heaven and get a first class. That he needs to be prayed for, and for many hundreds, over 1,000 years, you'll be amazed what generous terms those prayers take up. Sometimes as little or as 2/3 of a year's salary could ensure that a dead loved one would go to heaven. And money could ensure that your baby, your dead child, your dead uncle, your dead mother could go to heaven. And if you were rich enough, you could have a chantry built. And monks would permanently sing prayers so that that existence in heaven for the child would be up until the
Preach to them how they doing propaganda on your fucking stupid ass belief system. They just use your fucking belief system against you to fucking make money off it. Come on, people. The loving divine creator of all that there is to be in you is in you to know, not to be believing some bullshit that was taught to you as a fucking child, now that you're a full-grown fucking adult. Man, this is some bullshit we've been taught to believe in. I know, because I don't believe in shit nobody fucking say, but I got faith in their heart, and the truth is the reason why it goes. I don't believe in no bullshit no more. I know. Right after knowing that we were taught to believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and the motherfucking Tooth Fairy. What the fuck is that bullshit there about? It's right there. Juice the juice. Time to come out. Only male.
It is a doctrinal practice, more than a doctrinal practice, of extra ecclesia nulla salus. Outside the church, there is no salvation. That is the dogma of the church that has been used to excuse all the missionary, all the rape and torture of the Aztecs and the Incas, all the horrors of South America.
All that, that's what church is there for. To live there and excuse that bullshit. So they go and confess their sins to God and Jesus and then have it all wiped the fuck away. That's bullshit.
However, the particular nature of the exploitation of the poor, the vulnerable, and the young. If I were to talk to a priest now, believe me, that priest would be the most worldly, charming, self-deprecating, snobbish in a Ronald Knox, Alfred Gilby sort of way. Ha ha ha. He would be lovely. He would smoke. Gosh, how daring. He would be a sort of ha 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 priest, and the superstition and the nonsense that we read about in the church is enjoying Farm Street, or the Brompton Oratory, and a marvelous time as a Catholic, and everything is lovely and splendid. But before an ignorant, and my goodness me, every single detail of damnation and original sin, and of any possibility of your complaining or asking to think of yourself. I said, let's think of this square mile. Just imagine in this square mile how many people were burned for reading the Bible in English.
Nah.
And one of the principal burners and torturers of those who tried to read the Bible in English here in London was Thomas More. You may know if you've read the novel Wolf Hall, one man book by just the other day. Now, that's a long time ago. It's not relevant, except that it was only last century that Thomas More was made a saint, and it was only in the year 2000 that the last pope, the Pope, he made Thomas More the patron saint of politicians. This is a man who put people on the rack for daring to own a Bible in English. He tortured them for owning a Bible in their own language. The idea that the Catholic Church exists to disseminate the word of the Lord is nonsense. It is the only owner of the truth for the billions that it likes to boast about. Because those billions are uneducated and poor, as again it likes to boast about. But they are the ones who can tell and bully and domineer. And then we come to children. Well, it's all very well to say the world didn't know better. The world had no knowledge of how dangerous a crime child abuse was. I want to read you some of the words of Ratzinger, the current Pope. It staggers me to admit he is the head of state of a country. Incidentally, as Whittingham said, we don't have the power of a nation state. Yes, you do. You are a nation state. Yes, I wrote it down. You mentioned that. You are a nation state. And it is no accident that the UN Cairo Population Conference, when they were trying to do something about the world's population spinning out of control, Vatican City, as a nation state represented at that conference, made a joint statement with the Islamic countries of the world, notably the most extreme Islamic countries of the world, led by Saudi Arabia, and it began on behalf of the revealed religions of the world, ... and what it did is essentially topple and veto any possibility of women's freedom in the world, because as we know, Islamic religion and the Catholic Church have never been anything other than
Preach to him, baby. I ain't about none of that shit that y'all talking about, but hey, I have faith in your heart, and some of the shit that you're talking about makes sense. And you have to get that sensible making shit from somewhere, and it had to come from the most sensible being of you being here, and that's the divine creator of you, besides your mind and your daddy. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. Because I'm here to push it strongly. Because it's time for us to stop all this bullshit with what they done told us to believe. The truth is now it's time for you to fucking know. Yeah, y'all try to say, we know that language. Fuck you, but I love you. Because the truth is the truth, period. Fuck all the bullshit. I get to be myself. Well, I get to tell y'all the truth to the truth being used by the creator of all this. But, like I said again, but the respect is that I'm being myself. I'm talking like I want to talk, but I'm telling the truth coming from the divine creator of all of this. The creator ain't mad at none of y'all. It is what it is when the creator is in y'all. So when you do some fucked up shit to somebody like you, in the circle of life, it's gonna come back to you. You gonna feel their pain 4 times more over. Why do you think these people want me dead? They want me dead because I want y'all to know the truth so y'all can have eternal life with the divine creator of all of this. But y'all are in a fight between they created God, the devil, and all that bullshit. That's all man-made up bullshit to have you fucked up, twisted in this shit here, for you to be so twisted up, saying that same-sex marriage is okay. A man and a man is okay to come together. A woman and a woman is okay to come together. But guess what? Even though they okay to come together, they could never, ever be making the creator's original name love together. Because what they do together ain't making no sense, because they can't never make another one of each other, because a man and a man can't create life, and a woman can't create life when they literally come together, when the penis and the penis and the vagina and the vagina, or the ass and the penis, or the vagina and the vagina. It is what it is. It don't work that way. I just get to you how it comes for you to know what the fucking truth is. Fuck all that bullshit. I don't even play. I play this video game, but as I play this video game, I'm giving the people the truth why I play it. Because I'm not wasting my time while I'm on this bullshit. I gotta do something. That's why I say this. I'm doing my part. I'm being smart. Even though I can't read or write, I'm telling the truth. Because the truth is the truth, period. Fuck all the bullshit. It's all in you. Wow. Now, I say it again, extraordinary sexual dysfunction. Extraordinary. If you got a Catholic priest that's just around men all day and got a sexual release in his body, man, come on, y'all fucked up, stupid ass sheeple people. Even the motherfucking popes and the priests of motherfucking pedophiles, cause they want to do that shit. What real fucking man gonna go to some fucking religion where you can't be with a motherfucking woman and shit? A throwed off motherfucker that's been taught some bullshit that they done lived and believed in. Man, if y'all don't overstand by now that this is a whole bunch of bullshit, y'all gonna know for sure. When the shit falls right in front of your fucking face, and you're gonna say, oh, I seen that shit. But it's gonna be too late for you to do shit. Cause your time is gonna be over. Yep. Yep. Hey. Mm. Don't say no to condom. But see, this is what it is. He trying to population control. Yep. Hey, it's like you said, people. If we don't understand the belly of the beast, where the belly is for the beast to be in, it's the Catholic churches, because that's where all the pedophilia and all that other bullshit started at. A man taking celibacy away from a woman. Like I was saying before, this is one of those ones that found out the secret. And the secret is, the woman is the only divine creator consciously thinking here on earth. The man ain't nothing but a donator to that creator. So they got some so-called men that's hating that fruit and wants to know why the creator chose the woman to do, to drop off life out of her body. And he just donated to that creator. They want to know why. Fuck them and them want to know why the earth started off with brown people first. They want to know why. There is no why. It is just us being the eye. Not them being the eye in the sky. Us as the people need to watch them. And they are doing us in, people. Yeah, man, all that fucking wealth, they got somebody dying of dirty water. That's bullshit. Because while you sitting here waiting on God and Jesus to do something and Jesus to come back and save you and some shit, these rich sons of bitches that's trillionaires and billionaires, and you got some fucking millionaires. Y'all can live there and be somebody's motherfucking miracle just by going and do some shit. But that's some bullshit, man, that we believe in some bullshit to not do some shit, to wait on God to live there and change you to do some shit, or Jesus coming back to help you through some shit. Man, there's so much bullshit going on. You still waiting on the Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny if you're waiting on that bullshit. Look all these people that debating some bullshit like this here, which is real shit when you talk about what you're going to do after this. What all those people going to do after this. Are y'all going to get in the airplane and go do something different?
We haven't forgotten what America wants. Uncle overpriced shit that goes fast and gets you back to bravado. United we stand. Together we fall.
Because I'm going to give you now the results of that vote that you all gave when you were coming in here to Central Hall. And there are about 2,000.
What will you do when you finally win the lottery?
I'm gonna have my ex-wife strangled by a hitman.
Start dreaming. Play the San Andreas State Lottery and have all your fantasies come true.
That's where you all stand. So this is how you actually voted. The Catholic Church, the motion is the Catholic Church in favor of the motion were 678 agreed with that. Against the motion that the Catholic Church is the force for good was 1,102. However, 346 of you were undecided. Now, I've been taxing my arithmetical abilities here, and I see that it's a difference of 424. 346 were undecided. So, Archbishop and Anne Widdicombe, you're going to have to not only win over the undecided, but actually convert some from the other side. You need to get 425 over to win the motion, because at the moment you're quite a few hundred behind. Let's see if we can sway any opinions here amongst all of you by listening to some points.
There's nothing that somebody can say to explain the Catholic Church's starting pedophilia. Nothing. Because pedophilia starts when a man don't want to be with a motherfucking woman. Think about it. Because either he gonna play with his motherfucking self, or he gonna watch fucking porno, or he gonna rape some little boy. And I mean rape some little boy because they rape their mind first before they rape their behind. Because they psych them up like they ain't doing them nothing. With that God and that Jesus bullshit. Because you know they land there telling little boys something.
Where I put the United Nations Human Rights Council the fact that the Holy See, alter ego of the Catholic Church, has broken 5 articles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Because one of those is supposed to produce its annual report, and it's 12 years behind in doing that. It did not deny, the Holy See came back and did not deny any of the charges that I made on the 22nd of September. All it said,
You're losing us. What is your point?
my point is that it did not deny breaking 5 articles of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child on child abuse. And I think it's disgraceful that it should be allowed to do it, and that the international community should let it get away with it.
Okay, thank you. We'll take another question. There's a lady there.
See, and they got this shit where I can't turn it up so y'all can hear a little better and shit. But it is what it is. I'm gonna put it on there so somebody go watch the debate for themselves and shit, because I want you to know the truth for yourself. People lie, numbers don't. And while my numbers all add up to me telling you the truth, I want you to know this shit. No motherfucking bullshit.
Many people today
Truth
feel
is
that
the
we're
truth.
really facing some kind of moral crisis. We see that all around us. Now, if the Catholic Church does do for good, in my opinion, is give us the Ten Commandments, a very basic, obvious way of giving us some kind of moral guidance. Would you not agree with that? Okay, well, let's just get a response here from our panel. So, Ten Commandments,
See, but you gotta realize that the Ten Commandments came from somebody else writing it. I'm just trying to let y'all know. I ain't got nothing against the motherfucking Catholic Church bullshit. I just got a problem with it being bullshit. I just don't like nobody being treated like they fucking dumb motherfuckers, even though they can read and write and shit. I can't. But I know the truth.
And I might use my answer to just say something about Anne Whittaker. I knew we wouldn't get without talk about money being given away on supposedly
Yeah, bullshit.
Facing with a Mormon, and I say, are you serious? Joseph Smith got a special revelation on plates of gold in upstate New York, and I ridicule the absurdity of the Church of Latter-day Saints. He's going to say to me, boy, you should see our missionaries in Bolivia, though. It's always the same. Are you going to grant it to Hamas?
I'm gonna kill
The whole
myself.
claim of Hamas and Islamic
Turn that
Jihad
shit
in
up.
Gaza is they provide social services. Is this claim valid for them too? What nonsense. No. The proper study of mankind is man, and the proper application of humanitarianism is humanistic, in my judgment. Now, of the commandments, the first, I can't list them exactly, but I have them in my head. The first 2 or 3 are entirely about fearing the author of the orders. Entirely about being terrified of someone who you're enjoined to love. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but the idea of compulsory love has always struck me as a bit shady. Especially if you're ordered to love someone who you absolutely must fear. So the first 3 are look out for me and keep at least one day of mine where you'll be terrified full time. Wait a second. Well, it is 10 Commandments, darling.
All right, yes, I know, but I do want to give the other side a chance to come in.
Okay.
Have you made your point there?
Hi.
Okay. And with
What do you
the
mean?
Ten Commandments, bedrock of moral teaching.
Yes, but as Christopher Hitchens took the opportunity to reply to a point I'd made, I'm going to take the opportunity to reply to a point that Stephen made, which is very simply this. He says the church is obsessed with sex. No, its critics are obsessed with sex. There's no sex in the creed. There's no sex in the Lord's Prayer. There's no sex in the liturgy. But when critics start on the Catholic Church, all they can talk about is sex. But of sex more later. If we can come to the Ten Commandments, I would have thought it quite obvious that the Ten Commandments set out a blueprint for a moral and successful society. Let us just look at some of them. Honor thy father and thy mother.
If they're
Think of
honorable.
today's
If they're
disrespect.
honorable.
Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not covet.
Hi there.
Tell that
How
to the
can I help
bankers
you?
with their bonuses.
You got a nice fleet, boss.
I actually think that if you look at the moral precepts of the Ten Commandments, they're as relevant now as they were then.
Your personal vehicle
And
is
that
being
point
brought
about the
up
rights
now.
of the child, I mean, that's something that's come up quite a bit.
First of all, the United Nations conventions that he's talking about, they need to be well understood. And it is a fact that there is not a unanimity even in the interpretation of the content and the meaning of many of those conventions.
Special cargo ready for collection. Go get it and bring it to the warehouse.
Personally conversant with the issues he is raising, the 5 accusations that he has laid against the Holy See. But I'm sure that the permanent observer of the Holy See in Geneva would have given adequate answer to his question. As for defense of children, as for the defense of children, taking care of children, I think we don't have to go to the United Nations to learn about that. Oh, by the way, the Ten Commandments are in the Bible, but my father knew it before he became a Christian. All African religions recognized those basic norms of morality. Everybody knows that.
Let's take some more questions from the floor. Okay. Chat there.
Hi. This is a very simple question for Anne Widdicombe. You might think it may be a naive question, if so, I'd be very happy to be educated. Why is it wrong for a woman to become a priest, but perfectly acceptable for a woman such as yourself to become an MP?
Okay, thanks. We'll come to that in a moment. I think we're going to go... Yeah.
Hello. It's a query for Anne and the Archbishop. Anne raised a point regarding the billions that are poured into Africa for family relief, aid and things like that. She also mentioned the billions that are raising collections. What is the point there? Are you trying to say that the billions that are poured into Africa are raised by collections? Because we don't seem to see any dissolution of the wealth that is sat in the Vatican and in the palaces of the Vatican. And coupled with that, I respect your faith, I respect the message you give, but why to pass that message on? Do you need the finery that you wear? Do you need the palace of the Vatican?
Point made. I think we're going to go here. Yeah.
Hello. My name is Matthew Hampton, and I've got a brief question for the Archbishop. Sorry, can you hear me?
Now we can. Start again.
Oh, thank goodness. Archbishop, of which current Roman Catholic policy are you most ashamed?
Current Catholic policy are you most ashamed? Okay, let's stick with the Archbishop on that. So, Archbishop, which current Catholic policy, this question is, are you most ashamed of?
I don't know whether you're serious in that question or you just want to provoke. Because...
No, it's a serious question. Answer the motherfucker.
I'm not just trying to overnight by Pope or anybody. If it is a Catholic policy, it is reasonable. It is based on our traditions and scriptures, and there's none about which I'm ashamed. If that is the answer to your question.
Okay, and the other question about, I think the Vatican is worth something like, is it $2.5 billion it has invested all over the place? Or do you need all that money for that person up there, all the finery and all the rest of it?
I was trying to listen, I couldn't quite hear you.
Well, his question was, you talked about the billions in aid that goes to Africa, dispensed by Catholic organisations one way or another, but what about the wealth of the Vatican itself? Do you need all that money?
If it means that they should carry St. Peter's Basilica to Africa, that's not the answer. And I don't know what billions of that says the Vatican has. The billions of this world, I think, are not in the Vatican. We know where they are, and they are not coming to Africa. On the contrary, Africa is being sucked dry by those people, those multinationals. They are the ones who should be bringing our money back to us. I think we are targeting the wrong place. I come from Africa, and the funds that come from church agencies for us are very important. We know that normally in most of those countries, we should not even be looking up to people to help us. We should be helping ourselves, and we are working towards that.
And we put one specific question to you. Why not women priests in the Catholic Church?
Well, no, the specific question was, why is it not all right for a woman to be a priest, but it is for a woman to be an FP? That was the specific question.
All right.
And I have to say to you, I mean, that really does betray a vast ignorance. A member of Parliament, male or female, does not stand in persona Christi at the point of consecration. The Church
is not about careers. The church is about vocations and about theology. And I do not believe it's possible for a woman at the point of consecration, a woman's ministry is different. This is specific to the priesthood. Probably won't be understood by a lot of the people who don't understand the theology of the priesthood. But I don't believe that it is any more possible for a woman to represent Christ at the point of consecration than for a man in virgin Mary.
Okay, thanks. Lots of hands up, and I really do want to go around everybody. So, panel, if you could keep your responses to the point as much as you can. Up there, please.
To Anne and the Archbishop, how can the Church possibly sustain and justify taking money from the impoverished in Mexico, in Latin America, in Africa, and at the same time suggesting that you're a force for war?
Okay, thanks.
Oh, that truck came out of nowhere. That truck wasn't there. Man, y'all,
I don't know that
you got an old coat, man. You got rolling that truck.
Recommend chastity for everyone. If I have not money, I should be chaste. Either I am homosexual or heterosexual. And also, as I have read in your books, you should not, or you don't consider that to be celibate for a long period is something so awful or impossible.
Okay, all right, thank you. Now, okay, did I say there? Yeah.
Hi, question from Anne Widdicombe, actually. You accused Christopher Hitchens of judging the Catholic Church by the standards of the time, but surely the truths in your doctrine are either eternal or they're not.
Okay. I'll just take one more there and then we'll come. Yeah, go on.
Hello. My name is Jeremy Drags. I was baptized Church of England and I'm now in the Church of Rome. Of all the speakers here tonight, I endorse 100% what Stephen Fry has said. In our church, we do not reject anyone. The life of Christ was a life of service, a life of sacrifice, and a life of generosity. He did not spend it with the rich, the powerful, those with nice clothes and refinery. He spent it with the down and outs, the poor, the sick, those who were rejected by society. It is a tragic shame that a church that is founded on such fabulous principles has lost its way, in my professional view and personal view, in buildings that are arguably excessive.
The sale's on, but it's kind of complicated. You'll be dropping the goods at a few points around the city. Collect the cargo at LSIA and make this thing happen.
Therefore, why is this church not leading by example and following the life of Christ?
All right, thanks. You're reading a statement there. Okay, fine. Stephen Fry, the question about the Catholic Church apparently doesn't condemn homosexuality, that question asked.
Well, I'm afraid it simply does. It does condemn it, yes. It calls it, the official word is disorder, but it was refined by the current pontiff, Ratzinger, who called it a moral evil. But on the other hand, we must remember, as the point that was made, is that the Church is very loose on moral evils, because although they try to accuse people like me who believe in empiricism and the Enlightenment of somehow what they call moral relativism, as if it's some appalling sin, whereas what it actually means is thought. They, for example, thought that slavery was perfectly fine.
No.
Absolutely okay, and then they did it. They thought until the year 2000 that a baby went to limbo, causing unbelievable distress to parents whose child died. Unbelievable distress. And then, with a wave of the hand and a stamp of the seal, it was no longer true. Something that had been eternally, or at least true for 2,000 years, suddenly wasn't. Because the truth is complicated. It's hard. And what is the point of the Catholic Church if it says, oh, well, we couldn't know better because nobody else did? Then what are you for?
I think it is high time. I didn't want to get into too much theology tonight, but I think it's high time that this interpretation of limbo by Stephen Fry was questioned. Now, I actually went to a Catholic school. I absorbed Catholic doctrine. I I was certainly taught about limbo, and I don't actually recognise Stephen's description of it. Because it wasn't for all eternity. What limbo was simply, and I do appreciate that most people this won't matter, but it just needs answering. What limbo was straightforwardly a place where they waited for the second coming. That is long wait. Long wait, yeah, long wait.
And Archbishop, can you just clarify for us on this thing about homosexuality? The Catholic Church condemns the act but not the individual. Did Jesus Christ himself actually say anything about homosexuality? I don't think he did.
That is the wrong question in this regard. Because we are not aware about homosexuality, the morality of homosexuality being a matter that drew the attention of Jesus. But Jesus certainly spoke about the Ten Commandments and adultery. But to come to the position of the Church of homosexuality, it recognizes there are people who have homosexual tendencies, and they even consider themselves as such. But we are not, the Church also says that the homosexual acts are wrong, but that doesn't mean that those who are engaged in it are condemned outright, because each person has his own personal story. There is room for that. I do not think we should deny the Church the right to propound its own doctrines. You are not obliged to take it.
Let's hear some more from the floor. Sorry about the question about the term of truth. We may get to that a little later. Okay, over there, up there.
It actually follows on from the point just made. As a gay man, I find the history of sexual repression and oppression that's gone on in the Church to be argued that that's just being being obsessed by sex to be a bit offensive, and I wondered if Anne Whitcomb would defend her position a little bit more on sexuality.
We've had that point. We've dealt with that point. Can I go to number two?
I just wanted to say on behalf of myself and my fellow degenerates that I would just like to ask all the Catholics in the room, as well as the opposing team, if they'd like to just stay out of my sex life and my bedroom.
All right.
That'd be great.
We've had this, okay? Can we have slightly different points perhaps that have been raised?
How raw little people are.
I think I'm running up with you.
Yes, that confused It's confused to the point where they ask people like they got a spot that they didn't stole. But they got a spot. Truthfully, they got a spot. Yeah, then say something against them that you should put in jail. They got a spot.
As a point I would argue contrary. Surely, if people have a grasp of basic morality without the dogma, the doctrine of the Church, then everything good, all the humanitarian aid, all the great work that the Church has been doing that you've spoken about, surely that's not the Church, that's just people that have to be under this umbrella of the Church. The people that are doing it, not the dogma of the Church.
Here. I'm going to take that as a point rather than a question. The young lady with the spectacles. Yeah, talking about sort of the humanitarian aspect of what's done, I'm just wondering if Stephen Fry and Christopher Hitchens felt that perhaps there would still be the same amount of aid and still the same amount of concern for sort of people in Africa that do need our help without sort of this emotional, spiritual blackmail that perhaps the Catholic Church would be guilty of. Okay, we'll come to that. Any supporters of the Catholic Church? For so many of you. Sorry, I'm not showing bias.
What the fuck, hold on. They ain't got no support from everybody speak. They ain't got no support for the Catholic Church. They ain't got no support for it. Fuck it. Trying to make somebody say something. See, look.
I thought that this discourse was going to be about intelligence and reason, and not about emotion, whipping out emotion. I want to ask Hitchens and Price. You try to put the blame of the Jewish Holocaust and the slave trade squarely on the shoulders of the church. Are you sure of that position?
Just pass the microphone to the sister next to you, please, because I think you had your hand raised. Then we'll come to her.
I am a Reverend Sister alone. I just want to say that our life is based on the life of Jesus Christ, not on emotion or based on the way the world is going. So I thank all the people who are listening, and I think the message we are getting here will lead us to live a good life. That's why me, myself, sitting here listening to the talk, I think it is good that we focus our attention on the life lived by our Lord Jesus Christ.
Thanks,
and what our Archbishop trying to...
Thank you, Sister. Thank you. Let me just take a couple more, actually. So many hands
Well,
in the air. Can we come... just take your pick at the front there. Can you keep your point very brief? Because really, you're taking liberties too much, too long.
Anne Widdecombe said there was no sex in the Lord's Prayer. In the world I inhabit, you don't become a father without sex being involved.
All right, we'll take that as a point, as a comment. If you've got brief comments, okay, there, and then I'm going to come to the
As is so often the case in these debates, the devil lies in the interpretation of single words in the motion. And word is good. And it is, I think, one has to accept that if you have 1 billion followers, then it is an enormous force. But whether it's exercising its good now or it should change, Stephen Fry left the door open to us to see that if Vicuria and the Pope admit that there needs to be change, then we would, I think, vote more favourably for the Church.
Okay, thanks. Let's get to some more comments. Okay, yeah, please.
Thank you. As somebody who spent 38 years of her life as a Catholic and then
Start again. Sorry, we didn't hear.
I spent 38 years of my life as a Catholic and then I saw the light. And my life now is going back and forth to Africa, and next month I go to Uganda, and I'm working on trying to stop mothers dying in pregnancy and childbirth. What I'm saying is, please, reverse the rule on condoms and family planning and contraception and save more lives. Save thousands of lives.
We will, all of you. Because they need, okay, where is the microphone? Microphones? Yeah. Okay, just, let's keep this moving. Briefly, please. Yes.
Very briefly, as a Catholic, I'm actually very pleased to be here this evening to hear two sides of a very important argument. And the positive thing I take away is that the Catholic Church can take the opportunity to reflect upon these comments, and that we look for the future. And it's by actually accepting these comments and by looking for a way forward that the Church can actually grow and have a more important part of the world.
All right. Thank you. Up there.
This is a question for Stephen and Christopher. I'm really happy that Stephen's mentioned the Enlightenment and empiricism, which is something that I think can add a lot to human existence. I'm just wondering what your thoughts on the monopoly of a certain type of sensation that religion seems to have on it. You know, the existence of God is obviously put down to a particular sensory experience, and also the further impingement religion is having upon empiricism, in particularly the United States, on things like intelligent design.
Okay.
These arguments. Thank
you. Briefly. Okay, very, very quickly, like 15 seconds, everybody. Yeah. Where is the microphone? Just take it there. You don't have to stand in the middle.
Just a question for the Archbishop. I'd like to know how you calculate the figure of how many Catholics there are in the world. I was baptised a Catholic. I'm now atheist. I presume it's done by baptism records, and I'm calculated as Catholic. And why can I not now disassociate myself from the Church?
I'm sorry, everybody. Can't really take any more questions. Can't take any more questions from the floor, really. But panel, what I propose is that you've heard the points that are raised. Some of them are comments, some of them were questions, like the one specifically to you, Christopher Hitchens, about the Holocaust. You're going to have a few minutes to make your closing statement. Please incorporate these questions that you heard in your closing statement, because audience I want you to vote again. You've heard the presentations, you've heard some of the responses and some of the points that have been raised by the audience here. So please do. Let me just remind you how you vote, okay? If you are for the motion that the Catholic Church is a force for good in the world, then just tear this off and put it in the box. If you're against the motion that the Catholic Church is a force for good, rip it up, take the bit that's against and put that in the box. If you're still undecided, then just put the whole ticket into the box. That's how to vote. Now, for those of you who are watching at home, if you'd like a briefing booklet on some of those issues that you've heard raised today, then please go to www.intelligencesquared.com and you can download that booklet. Anybody can do it and it's absolutely free. Okay, so everybody is doing that. So while you're all doing that, it's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to hear the closing statements incorporating some of the points that you, the audience, raised. And we're going to do it in reverse order this time. And it's going to be Stephen Fry first. Let me just remind you about some of the points, or did you make notes about them? You've made notes. Excellent chat, Stephen. You're doing the work. So Stephen Fry, final statement, please. Oh,
sorry. Observant chap, aren't I? Yes. Well, it's been a really interesting debate, and I'm not going to go to the floor. I suppose I'm slightly disappointed that Anne Widdecombe in particular should say, oh, I knew they'd bring up condoms and child rape and homosexuality. It's a bit like a burglar in court, so you would bring up that burglary and that manslaughter. Never mention the fact I give my father a birthday present. You know, it's yes.
Yes, I'm bring that shit up.
There is a reason.
Fuck, it's a fucking problem.
Because they matter. They matter to people's hearts and souls. I make no apology to the lady who said this is supposed to be intelligence squared. Why are you being so emotional? We're talking about...
You know, not every gun runner in the States got their heart in the right place. Some of them are downright nasty. If you take out this other op for me, I'll make the rest of the resupply go easy.
Or the Council of Trent, or various other extraordinary conventions that ruled on limbo. Don't tell me there's some magisterial and mystical reason behind limbo that I'm too stupid to understand. That's not good enough. It really isn't. As a rather more contemporary theologian, Bultmann, said, the problem with mysticism is it begins in mist and ends in schism. And it's terribly disappointing to hear that those who want to stand up for a church that is based on a founder who was put to death by capital punishment, who, for all we know from what he said, seemed to be very, very understanding, imaginative, pure, simple, remarkably intelligent in a Socratic kind of way. And he is represented by, really, I'm afraid, pretty low-rent intelligences and pretty low-rent imaginations. They are not connected at the moment, it seems to me, with the aspirations and desires of the human race. There's such an opportunity, owning 1 billion souls at baptism, that can never be unowned, to answer that basic question until the next community. So yes, you are counted. It's such an opportunity to do something remarkable to make this planet better, and it's an opportunity that is constantly and arrogantly being exploited. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Final statement from Conservative MP Anne Widdecombe for the motion that the Catholic Church is supposed to be in the world.
Right, can I first answer the point raised by the lady over there about how she's been helping women who were in danger of death even from pregnancy and childbirth, and answer the allegation behind it, which is that somehow the reason why so many women in the third world continue to go on having children beyond the safe point is all because it's the wicked Catholic Church. Let me point out the obvious, that if you're in a country where the mortality rate is extremely high, where you do not expect the majority of your children to survive into adulthood, and there is no convenient abbey field to nip to, the reason that you have children is for security in your old age. And in case anybody thinks I'm making that up, may I point out that I did actually go out with an aid project in Zambia, and I asked woman after woman about why they had such large families when they couldn't feed them, and the answer was always the same. Somebody has got to look after me when I am old. Let's forget that. And then, of course, we have had all the usual stuff about
I won't hear that come out somebody's mouth. I ain't gonna take your word for that. I ain't take your word for that bullshit you just said.
I'm not going to cite the Catholic
I won't hear that come out somebody's mouth. Probably ain't really gonna make them motherfucking kids take care of them until they get old. Bullshit.
Harvard Center for Population and Development Studies writes, 20 years into the pandemic, there is no evidence that more condoms leads to less AIDS. We're simply not seeing what we expected. And he goes on to say that in Africa, where many have to go miles even to get an aspirin.
Hello, Pegasus Lifestyle Management. How can I help you? Your beautiful new aircraft is waiting at our nearest airfield. We hope you're very happy, madam.
With a regular supply is quite simply unattainable. John Richens of the Center for Sexual Health and HIV Research says, we should ask why condom promotion is apparently not having much effect in most developing countries. And finally, Dr. Trevor Stammers, none of these people Catholics. There are no examples to date from any country in the world that has reversed a generalized epidemic by means of condom promotion alone. Now, if we are true to wanting to help people, if we are really true to it, then we should face up to that perhaps rather inconvenient fact that what was expected hasn't actually happened. I could go on, I could quote UNAIDS, I could quote the Wellcome Trust, research after research now, suggesting that condoms actually are not the answer.
Hello, you're through to Merriweather Security Consulting. What can I do for you?
And when I said that our
Helicopter support unit will be with you right away.
In this way, the only nastiness tonight, there's been virtually none. The only nastiness tonight came when Stephen Fry accused the Archbishop of being sexually dysfunctional. Because he said that celibate
the cavalry has arrived.
Had no right to tell him what to do because they were, and I quote his words, sexually dysfunctional. As I've said, our opponents always try to home in on sex when the teachings of the Church, which are after all only about the stability of family, the maintenance of fidelity, the virtue of chastity, when the Church teaches that as one part of all its teaching, I do sometimes despair at the way that these debates always come back to that. So I'm very pleased to have been here tonight, despite the fact that I think the incoming poll was slightly discouraging. I'm very pleased to have been here with the Archbishop and with the two gentlemen opposite, and thank you for the opportunity. Against the motion, Christopher Hitchens.
Those who ask confessions from other people should be willing to make one oneself. I am, Chester said. Ever since I discovered that my God-given male member was going to give me no peace, I decided to give it no rest in return. Seems fair to me. Now, two people asked me to be very quick and do world poverty and the Holocaust, and I'll do that. There is only one cure to world poverty that's ever been found or ever will be, and it's very simple. It's and it can be phrased very simply too.
Our job here is done. Moving out.
Go to Bangladesh or Bolivia. I have to ask you to hold your applause, though I love you. Go to Bangladesh or Bolivia, give women control over their reproductive cycle. Throw in a handful of corn if you can. Make them not just the beasts of burden and the beasts of childbearing that they become, and the floor will rise, it just will. It never fails anywhere. Against this one solution, the Catholic Church has set its face. The efforts of the missionary church in the Third World mean more people die, not less. It's as simple as that. More famine, more disease, more ignorance, more random and avoidable death. To the Holocaust, sir. That the church preached that the Jewish people were collectively responsible for the death of Christ until 1964, so nearly 20 years after the Nuremberg trials, may or may not have something to do with the availability of a reservoir of anti-Jewish hatred in countries like Poland, Spain, Italy, Germany, Austria, and elsewhere. I think it does have something to do with it. Okay? The Ten Commandments, 3 of them are awe-inspiring. They're about being afraid of a totalitarian figure. 3 of them are ordinary morality. We know of no code of ethics ever found, that the Archbishop bears me out on this, that recommends murder, theft, or perjury. Putting adultery on the same level as that may not be morally advisable. Saying that covetousness should be considered in the same light as a crime, in other words, a thought crime. You're condemned now for something you're thinking. And it may be something that leads you to enterprise and emulation. That's forbidden too. That's very, very iffy, it seems to me. And there's a very iffy part of it which lumps those you mustn't covet in with the animals and the chattels and your property. And those who it lumps in are your women folk. And do you seriously expect to be taken seriously if you say that that commandment that does reduce women to beasts of burden and childbearers and chattel has nothing to do with the appalling position of women, not just in poorer societies, but in ours as well? Again, for shame if you can feel it. Now, unanswered questions. Amazing. I asked, where is Cardinal Law, Bernard Law, and why? I have an authority here. He ducks the question. Anne Widdecombe, sorry, I've got one more thing to say about that. He also says that the church advises against homosexuality. It teaches against it. No, it doesn't. Any more than it teaches against divorce or contraception. Where it can, it bans these things and punishes them and writes them into the criminal code. If all you were doing, sir, ma'am, were offering advice, we could probably be fine with it. No one, though when they were asked repeatedly, would say whether they thought Stephen Fry, my friend, was in a state of mortal sin or not. They wouldn't tell you. Something about the question brought out their inner coward. Well, I say that homosexuality is not just a form of sex, it's a form of love, and it deserves our respect for that reason. That when my children were young, I'd have been proud to have Stephen as their babysitter, and I told them they were lucky. And if anyone came to my door as a babysitter wearing holy orders, I'd call first a cab and then the police. And it's your fault, sir and ma'am, it's your fault that that's true, and that everybody knows it's true. How you can live with it, I don't know. Now, relativism, I thought we were agreed. But Anne Widdecombe says slavery has to be considered in context. What's more relative than that?
Hello, you're through to Pegasus Lifestyle Management. How can I help? Call again. Goodbye.
Slavery is evil. The church wouldn't agree. Now, which is it then? Is it that the church is wrong, or, even more suggestive, that God has not yet revealed that it's wrong to them? Or did God support it all those years and then change his mind? From a beginning point of absurdity, you arrive at a terminal point of absolute moral chaos. And I think you've at least done us the favor of making that plain this evening. God, in short, God did not make man in his own image. It is precisely to the contrary. Mammals and primates made many gods and many churches in their own rival images. And that would explain if these churches and faiths were invented by
bullshit. Why the wrong gun keep coming out?
Away from a chimpanzee, which happens to be the case, it would explain a lot, would it not? I can't offer you absolution. Not in my power to do it. Stephen can't offer you absolution. First of all, we believe, we more or less know. There's no such thing. But if you confess your sins specifically, if you name them and don't just make them general, if you do so truly repenting of them, without any purpose of evasion, and if you make a firm purpose of amendment, you might be able still, while there's time, to live with your consciences. I wish you all the luck in the world in pursuing that course of action.
Final statement from our final speaker, Archbishop Archbishop of Abuja, John Onayaken, you've got to make your final pitch now to the audience.
Thank you very much. I just want to draw the attention of the audience back to the topic. And the topic is quite clear. The Catholic Church is a force for good in the world. We did not say it is the only source for good. We did not say it has always been a source for good. It's not in the past tense, the present tense is a source for good. The way I learned logic, this is the way I would proceed. Which is why when we are being brought back to all the evils in the past, I kept asking myself, are my friends digging into all those because they really have no proper argument to say against the motion?
Hey, shut up, man.
Because from all they have said, and I still have not seen how they have in any way shown that the Catholic Church is not a force for good in the world. There are other people who are forces for good in the world. We are just one of them. And I still believe that. So, and I just want to bring that to the attention of this body, if at all it is possible. Because from what I'm saying, probably men are not really listening in that direction. But I also, what worries me a bit is the way the Catholic Church has been described from across this table. Mrs. Weatherman already.
Boy, you about the truth, boy. Dirty motherfucker show you some shit, boy. I ain't lying, boy. They show you some shit.
And its position. If it is a caricature, sometimes caricatures are very funny and they are quite entertaining. But I do not think we are here about entertainment. I think it is important, it is a serious discussion, that one makes a little effort to actually get to know, understand exactly the truth about the matter. I can say all kinds of things about other people, but I think it is fair enough that when it comes to what does the church say about condoms, what does it say about homosexuality, what does it say about women, please, we need to take the trouble to find out exactly what it is saying, not what the newspapers are saying that we are saying. Unfortunately, this is not a forum to give you a proper exposition of the Catholic faith. And in fact, I have seriously resisted the temptation to preach to you. It seems that all the preaching today came from the other side. And but anyway, be that as it may, I have must mention two issues that was raised. We have been told that the whole genocide in Rwanda is the fault of the Catholic Church, because the Rwandans are practically all Muslims. If there's going to be a genocide, it has to be done by somebody who happens to be Muslims. In any case, that a bishop was accused. Yes, the bishop was accused. The bishop was discharged and acquitted because he was falsely accused. When he was accused, all the world media were there because this was good news. This was great news. The bishop accused of genocide. The day he was discharged and acquitted, they were not interested. Nobody was interested to hear that Bishop Augustine Misago has been discharged and acquitted because he was accused on false, trumped-up charges. As for condoms, Mr. Weatherman already has shown that there are scientific positions that support the position of the church. All I want to add here is this. If indeed the burden of HIV and AIDS is in Africa, know that it is my nephews, my nieces who are most affected. And let nobody out there think that they care more about the life of my own nieces and nephews than I care. So if we take a position, it is because we seriously believe that this is the right position. We are not talking of the validity or the value of one sexual act with a good condom done properly. We are talking of condoms being distributed indiscriminately to young people and being told that once you wear this, you are safe. The fact is that when that is done, AIDS is increased, not decreased. I think this is being proved from epidemiological research. It's not talking about whether one act, whether condoms or protest of one act, but when it comes to a whole lot of people, like the situation in most countries of Africa, and the situation of health services, right down to simple aspirin, then we know what we are talking about. Finally, we have this event has been very peaceful and I'm very happy to have it here. We never said that the Catholic Church is perfect. Some questions were proposed to the Archbishop and think about it. We'll continue to do our best to be as close as we can to Jesus Christ and what He wants us to be, and to constantly be a force for good in the world. And I thank you.
Archbishop, thank you. Audience, you've all voted again. Now the moment of truth panel. Let me remind everybody that before the debate, when everybody came in, this is how you voted. For the motion that the Catholic Church is a force for good in the world, 678. Against the motion, 1,102. And the undecided, the don't knows, were 346. This is how you voted subsequently.
Wow.
For the motion that the Catholic Church is a force for good, from 678, it's gone to 268. I'm sorry. Against the motion, it's now 1,876. And you can see that doesn't leave very many don't knows. It's 34 undecided. So, commiserations, Archbishop and Anne Widdecombe. Congratulations, Stephen Fry and Christopher Hitchens. Thank you all. If you want to know more about Intelligence Squared debates, then please do go to the website www.intelligencesquareddebates. From me, Zain Abadawi, goodbye.
What it is, you come down to some truth, and then some people telling you straight up fucking bullshit. It's just that. Time for us to stop being bullshit by the bullshitters. That's our motherfucking government and this motherfucking Catholic Church bullshit. I don't got no real good thing to say about Baptists neither. And see, they got a picture. I wish you could see the picture right now. That old fucking gay ass picture of God reaching out his finger to Adam. That's the most gayest shit I ever did see. And then God laying up there with all the fucking children around him. Like they got some fucking God in the sky being our father. That's bullshit.
United Secular Alliance here at VCU. United Secular Alliance.
There is a divine creator that loves unconditionally. But that divine creator then you to be a creator too.
Not for the people in the back.
I guess that shit is man-made up bullshit so you can be fooled.
Can you hear me now?
That's why they gave you Santa Claus, the Easter and the Tooth Fairy.
Okay, like I was saying, I'm Roy Roberts, President of the United Secular Alliance. We are a student group dedicated to the promotion of secular ideals and providing a community for the non-religious students here at VCU. I would like to thank the Honors College and the College of Humanities for their financial, without which